Mm-mm-mm-mm. Ooh. There. All right, everybody. I'm gonna give it a couple minutes, make sure everything. Ooh. Hmm. Okay. So why don't I hear nothing? Hmm. All right. Well, I guess we'll get started. So what's up, everybody? Make sure this is working on here. Hey. What's up, Dante? What's up, Rakim? Really? Just here to be annoying if you want me to be completely honest. There we go. I fixed it. So I posted a video and apparently I've ruffled a couple feathers already because I've already got like an email, which is kind of weird because I never get an email about the videos that I post, but I've also gotten a lot of post and deleted comments. So let's talk about it. How you really feeling about what I said? Because I didn't see anything wrong though. Shut up! You about to buy a house? Ooh, let me know when you buy your house. I'll buy you a plant. Whenever people like buy a house and they be like, "Oh, you helped me so much," blah, 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 I try to send them a plant, or like if you don't like plants, I try to send like a gift, something you can keep in your house. It's not gonna be nothing crazy, like a little succulent or something that you could forget to water and it's not gonna kill. But first of all, I love plants. Don't. What are you nervous about? Don't be nervous, girl. This is what you've been working so hard for. This is what you've been working so hard for. Don't be nervous. Such a huge accomplishment. I mean, I haven't experienced it, but it is such a huge accomplishment. But what's up, everybody? For those of you who don't know me, my name is Markia Brown. I'm known as the Money Plug here on social media, and I went. Honestly, it's been a week since I went live, and I know I'm not supposed to be abandoning y'all like that. I promised I would start doing better with scheduling or at least having lives, because time management or whatever. But y'all, this move killing me. I'm literally in the middle of moving across country, and it's stressing me out. Do you hear me? Real bad. The stress of looking, yeah. Because if you're gonna be paying on something for the next 15, 30 years, then I definitely get it. I definitely get it. But it's still exciting to have a Pepsi. Oh, I don't need them. Oh, okay. Now mind your business. Mind your business, because I already got one. Get out. Not you talking to my TikTok followers. Get out. But I really wanted to go live to talk to y'all. So I got two things that's dropping tomorrow. One is going to be a video that I know is going to upset some people. So I really feel like I should just preface it with this because y'all know my lives save on YouTube, as well as a girl. Apparently, the video I posted today irritated some people. Somebody I didn't even know was still paying me any attention. But hey, girl, hey, since you're watching. Um, but first, so the video that's being posted tomorrow is going to be talking about the straw man and the redemptionist theory. If you follow me on TikTok, you know I've been posting a lot of content about this lately, and it's all reactionary content based off of comments that people are leaving on my posts. So I figured I would just do one whole video that explains my stance on the straw man and redemptionist theory with all of my proof and all that stuff to back up what I'm saying. I've taken a very anti straw man stance on my platform. I get it that it's a lot more than just a legal excuse. For some people, it's a spiritual journey, and I'm all for it. Do your thing, whatever makes you happy. However, the straw man slash redemptionist theory is not a legal excuse to fraudulently file tax forms. And we've had this conversation more times than I can count here on live as well as in post. But man, I'm fighting for my life in my YouTube shorts comments, y'all. Like I just a lot of us from TikTok are transitioning onto posting onto YouTube Shorts as well to try to clean up some of that money. Um, and it's like I guess they're kind of like seeing my stuff for the first time. It's nothing new to y'all on TikTok or Facebook. But the people on YouTube Shorts are pissed. Like I mean, like this one short that I did that said that because a girl told me that the IRS wasn't a government entity and that I was wrong about the 1099-C. Bro, that post alone gotta have over 100 comments, I feel like. I've been trying to respond to every single one. But it's like comments that saying like the IRS is not a government entity, even though on the website it specifically states that the IRS is a bureau of the Department of Treasury. But whatever. Um, People telling me I'm a sheep. Somebody said I'm a sleeper agent sent here to confuse us. I've been accused of so much different stuff. And it's so exciting. One, because people are just now discovering my content. And two, whenever I have these disagreements with people on social media, I always take the time to research. Of course, I'm going to double down because I ain't no whore, but you gonna have to, yeah, I'm gonna stand on what I said. But I always sit back and do the research as well because there are times when I am not correct. And so if I am wrong, then I want you get what I'm saying? Like I don't have a problem acknowledging that I'm wrong, though I am very rarely wrong. But I also want to know more about their point of view. What made you say this? Why did this even sound believable to you? And so it was just, I don't know. This is a really crazy like rabbit hole I went down with this whole 1099 straw man thing. And I mean, I've read the books, I've watched the videos. I'm talking it literally. So y'all know my new YouTube channel. Well, it's not a new YouTube channel, but I revamped it. And the deal was I would bring out videos every Sunday. And if you follow me, you notice I didn't release a video this Sunday. That's because I wasn't done my research. And I didn't want to do a half-ass video either. I'm talking, I poured through legal cases, y'all. I literally went through like case law, like looking at cases where it was predetermined by the precedents, and then I went and read those, and then read like case notes and summaries, and I really dug deep into this because I'm not saying that the straw man or the redemptionist theory is not. I wouldn't call it a religion. I'm not trying to argue the validity of whatever y'all got going on over there. My entire argument surrounds the fact that you cannot use the straw man theory as a legal excuse to exempt yourself from things like debt or following regular law. Um, I went so far as to pull up a presentation that the FBI did a couple years back where they broke down the different forms that people were submitting under this like reasoning and like the charges you would get for each one. Man, it was crazy. Um, but I got so tired of people in those comments telling me, you a sheep, do your research, do your research, do your research. So I did. And honestly, spoiler alert, y'all still fucking wrong. So that was a waste of my time, low key. But at the same time, I did learn a lot as far as like how people are falling for it, why this is such a successful scam, because it's not nothing new, right? The straw man shit has been around for like what 100 years or so, probably a little bit more than that. So it's not nothing new, but I'm starting to understand the attractiveness in this scheme, and I'm starting to understand how they manage to corral people in it and around it based off of a couple people who the scam worked for, right? Because obviously every scam, somebody got to be able to get through for it to use them as an example. So it's just really interesting. And it's also really interesting to me the amount of people who will openly admit to committing crimes on social media. Because there's so many people in that YouTube video who are like, I did this myself. I did this and it worked for me. Or my uncle, sister, baby father, little cousin did this and she got this. Like it's wild to me. But um, if you like it, I love it. That's what I'm gonna say about that. So that video is coming out tomorrow, and I know I'm gonna ruffle some feathers with that one. So I figured I would give y'all a warning about that. Um, but the video today, so I guess the guy that's in the video. So the video I posted today, I have no idea who that guy is in the video. Somebody tagged me in a TikTok that did not come from his account, I guess. It was on it was some girl's page. She had like 300 followers, but she posted this. And so like I took the video and did my thing or whatever. It's a rather longer video. I try to keep all my stuff under 60 seconds so that I can post it on all of my platforms. But this one's a little over 2 minutes, so you might not see it on like Facebook. You'll have to go on Instagram or TikTok to see it. And I think Twitter might have posted the whole thing. But anyway, so the video, in the video, the guy talks about how when you buy debt, that's infringing on the right to privacy for consumers. And while there have been cases where debt collectors have infringed on the right to privacy for consumers, the act of purchasing or selling a debt, right, that doesn't that doesn't infringe on your right to privacy just by that act happening. Something else has to happen during that, after that, before that, whatever the case may be, in order for that to be considered infringing on the right to privacy. That's what that part of the video says. The second part of the video, he said that after you get them to prove that they infringe on the rights of privacy, you would use 1692C and send I mean the cease and desist. The second part of the video said you send a cease and desist because the cease and desist says to cease all communications, and technically a credit report is communications. And in the video, I showed you the part of the law that specifically states that when a creditor or whoever can report to the credit bureaus with or without your consent. They don't need your consent to do that. So rescinding your consent does nothing for their decision to report this to the credit bureaus. Does nothing at all. And I also talked about the dangers of a cease and desist. Now, don't get me wrong, you can do something similar to a cease and desist, which is what we talked about for those of you who are getting phone calls from debt collectors and stuff like that. I've talked about the statement that you can say or the letter you can write to get them to stop contacting you in specific ways. But you should never shut the door completely on a creditor. That one, for a lot of them, that's like waving a red flag in front of a bull. They're going to take you to court now because 9 times out of 10, you're not going to show up. You're not going to show up and they're going to win, which is literally always what happens when you guys don't show up to court. Or a lot of you will pay them to avoid going to court. And then, of course, you'll get the notification that they're suing you, because legally they have to give you that. And it'll more than likely come from the courthouse saying that they're taking you to court. But that's a whole nother situation. But just because you send a cease and desist doesn't mean that legal action stops. They can still pursue you legally for that debt if you are still within the statute of limitations. If something comes off your credit, I tell you all the time, just because it comes off your credit does not mean that you no longer owe these people. That's not the same thing. You still owe these people. And for as long as you are still within the statute of limitations, you need to tread lightly, because if these people take you to court and you don't show up, that's wage garnishments right off rip. And you won't have to go to court to get a judge to vacate that. That's putting liens on properties depending on who you owe, how much you owe, that sort of thing. You gotta, I understand that as content creators, we only get a certain amount of time to say things, right? So of course we can't give you guys the entire story in content. But it's like, I really feel like sometimes purposely they're only giving you bits and pieces of the story so that it don't work all the way, or like they tell you the piece that sounds attractive so that it would entice you to I don't know. I guess I don't know how to break that down, but I just hate that they use your lack of knowledge and you don't know where to look, right? So they abuse that to try to manipulate you into making certain decisions without giving you the full story. I always tell people my job is not to tell you what to do. My job is to tell you all of the options available to you, and then you can make a decision on your own based on all the information that you have. I don't like it when only pieces of the story are told so that one decision is made out to be more attractive than the other one. So of course you're going to go with that one. If you wanted to pay the debt, you would have paid the shit off. It would have never went to collections in the first place. Am I right? So of course somebody telling you that you don't have to pay this debt and DM me to find out how. Of course that sounds attractive to you and you're gonna jump on it because you don't want to fucking pay these people. And low key, you don't even have the money to pay these people for a lot of y'all. So it's just like, of course you're gonna fall for that. But that's not always the case. Remember, we've talked about this. There are some situations where you're gonna have to kick out a couple dollars, especially if you want them to stop reporting. A lot of times they're going to ask for all of or a vast majority of the money that you owe them in order to stop reporting as a debt collector. Or the 609 letters. For those of you, I know that video has been getting a lot of traction lately. How I talked about 609 letters don't do what you think it do. And it works for some people strictly because these people do not feel like going back and forth with you. It's costly, and a lot of times it's not worth it. You don't owe them enough money for them to even think about going back and forth with you. So they'll let it go. But a lot of times you guys are taking these actions not understanding the total consequence of them. And it's kind of disconcerting that people who are positioning themselves in positions of authority are cool with that, with doing stuff like that. But it's not surprising, I guess you could say. But that's neither here nor there. Okay. But I really should be in here packing if y'all want me to be honest. I know, literally, I just said it. I should be in here packing, not talking to y'all. But honestly, it's been like what, a week and some change since I went live. So I knew that I had to get my live time in. Lord knows the algorithm gonna kick me out if I don't. Oh, maybe I'll do more lives next week. I'll be in California next week. Shout out to heaven, because at least I get to have fun with somebody. Bye. Oh wow. How many? Oh, 15 minutes. All right, so fun fact for content creators. So like if you want to keep your content like popping up on the FYP, right? They always tell you the more features that you're using on the app that you're posting on, um, like the more they'll be willing to push your content and stuff like that. So when you go live, they say as long as you stay live for 15 minutes, you're good to go. And I really didn't want to go live anyway today, so I'm gonna only stay live for 15 minutes. Y'all make me sick. Shout out to my followers that became family because I'm talking. There's followers who got my phone number, um, who I've met in person, like hung out with, like um, there's followers who I found out were actually in the same military sorority as me, which is so dope. Like that was so cool. Small world, but that was still so cool. Um, I ain't gonna say nothing. I ain't gonna say that. I was gonna say something, but no. See, you be trying to get me in trouble when I'm not doing this with you today. Absolutely not. I'm just here so I won't get fined. I filed bankruptcy and did not put my mortgage on it. Now the mortgage company is not reporting to the credit bureau. Yes, I'm still paying my mortgage. What can I do? So you can always request, like, send a request to the company. So one, reporting to the credit bureaus is not something that they have to do. Oh, what's up, Patrick? Reporting something to the credit bureaus is not something that they have to do. But you can always ask. So if you send a copy of your credit report, and you're like, hey, I'm just wondering why y'all not reporting. Is this not something that you offer, or like, just talk to them, just straight communication directly with the creditor. So you'll say, hey, I pulled a copy of my credit report and I'm noticing that you all are not reporting my payment history on my credit report. Can you please provide me a copy of my payment history? As well as send a copy to the credit bureaus to ensure that the information is reported in a timely manner, right? Because obviously, all the time you've been paying on your mortgage could have helped your credit score, right? That payment history, the more on time payments you have, if you've ever had a history of non payments, the better for your scores. So communicate with them first. And then from there, just Patrick, I want to reach out to you. I know you be super busy, so I don't even want to jump in your DMs like that because I know you probably got everybody in your DMs. But I want to talk to you about something. It was something you did that I would like to do, and so I need to ask you about it. And I'm only saying this for accountability so that you don't let me forget. Oh, you're so welcome. Okay. So let's talk about payment history for a little bit, right? So a lot of people, when they reach out to me and they be like, "Well, I got some late payments and I want to delete them. Like, can you do that for me?" And I always say, I can't control that. So how your payment history isn't the same thing as like when an account has the wrong account number or if the amounts don't match or something like that. If they have evidence to support their claim that you were late, you were late. There's nothing you could do about that. So you have a couple options when you want to try to remove payment, like late payment history from your credit report. Number one, you can always ask them to forgive you. If you don't have like a history of like late payments, like say you got like one or two or something like that, you got, let's say you have like a good relationship with them, you can always just ask. Shout out to y'all know who my favorite to ask, bro, Military Star. Like it never fails when if I ask, they're gonna do it. As long as you've never done it before. I think they only gonna do it like that one time. But Military Star is notorious for if you ask them, they will remove the late payments, y'all. All of the late payments on your account too, not just one. As long as you list them all, they will take them off. I've never had an issue with them. Now, Capital One is a company that I've gotten them to remove a late payment, but this was literally the only late payment on the account, y'all. And I had to ask like 4 times. So it's really hit or miss because they don't have to forgive you for that. It's strictly based off of the relationship that you have with the lender and whoever it was that took your call or read your letter that day. Now, another option that you have with late payment history. Now, this goes to credit cards specifically. So here's the thing. And a lot of people, I've been seeing a lot of videos about this too, so I guess I know what I'm going to post about tomorrow. But there's videos going around saying it's illegal to report late payments, and they'll show you like a piece of the consumer law that says they can't report late payments. But if you actually read that, and it only applies to like open in credit accounts, so like credit cards, lines of credit. And what it states is that it is illegal for a creditor to report a late payment on a consumer unless they can provide proof to support their claim that they gave the consumer access to their monthly statement no less than 21 days before the payment due date. That is the only time they are not obligated to report that late payment, right? Or legally not allowed to report that late payment. Now, you can use this, and for those of you who don't know or you want to look it up for yourself, it's called the Fair Credit Billing Act. It's up, or FCBA. Now, it's inside of the FCRA. So if you have a copy of the FCRA, you should be able to pull it up. I love doing the PDF because I just control F. But it's inside of that, and pretty much, if you can prove that they didn't give you access to your monthly statement, then for that particular month, they need to up that late payment to paid as agreed. Now, here's the thing. With the development of technology, it's a little harder now to prove that they didn't give you access to that, because they can be like, well, we made it available on the app and it shows here that you had app access, right? Because here's your login, right? That's something that they can prove to you. Now, if you don't use like the online portals or whatever the fuck, and then let's say like you moved or you just didn't get it in the mail, you can then argue like, well, I didn't receive it in time, so they should not be allowed to report that late payment on me. And a lot of times they'll go ahead and change that one late payment to paid as agreed if you raise enough of a stink about it. But again, it is a little harder to prove for those of y'all who are big into the techies and you always using the apps and the websites and all that stuff. That's also another reason why I typically tell people to not turn on electronic like receipts and stuff like that. You know how like when you sign up for a bank account, they'll ask you, do you want to do like electronic statements and stuff like that? Don't do that. Have them mail them to your house. That way you can use that as an argument, like, well, I don't check that often, and I specifically requested that all of my monthly statements be mailed to me, right? You could use that as an argument. So just a little tip. And then a third way that you could use to try to help with late payments, because okay, so let's talk about it. You do not want to remove an account that has like good history attached to it, even if it's not a lot of good history. History is history, and it's valuable to your credit report. The length of credit history or how long you've been building credit is 15% of your credit score. So removing the account completely always should be like a last resort. You don't want to do it right away. But another way that you can try to, and I call it rehabilitating the account, is that you can request a copy of your payment history. Now, for those of you with student loans, this tends to work with student loans, the private student loans, not government-owned student loans or government-backed student loans. Private student loans, yeah, I was right. So what you want to do is you want to request a copy of your payment history. And for each payment that they are reporting late, you want to ask for whatever details they can give you. I'm talking, you need to see the wire transfer receipt, the ACH, whatever the hell it's called. You need to request whatever information you can to see if they have it. Whatever they don't have the proof for, they can't report on it. So they got to update it to paid as agreed. If they have the proof on it, you're stuck with it. But I mean, you got to understand that these systems are run by people, and so they're faulty. And so sometimes people make mistakes, meaning the proper paperwork ain't in place. So that can work in your favor because, again, if they can't prove it, never happened. Never happened. But you always want, like, removing an account from your credit report should be like, other than collections, that should be like your last resort. Because what a lot of you don't understand, especially for those of you who don't have a lot of credit, right? Y'all removing these accounts is altering your entire credit profile, not just the payment history part. Because now the length of credit history is going to change, the mix of accounts is going to change. Like if it's a credit card and it was still counting against your credit utilization, your credit usage is going to change. So you got to take all of those things into account when you're repairing your own credit, right? Or if you're having somebody do it for you. You need to iron out a plan that works out for you, not just in the short term, but in the long term too. Because that's how I have a lot of people who have like paid for credit sweeps and then they come to me because the items have repopulated. And yeah, they was able to get what they needed in that moment, but now here they are trying to get something else and their credit is a whole other issue again. You have to understand that these short-term solutions and shit like that are just that, short-term solutions. It's not going to do shit for you in the long run. And that's just the truth of the matter. I have an old collection, but different agencies sending correspondence. What should I do? So first, you need to figure out who has control of it, because obviously it's called double jeopardy. Two companies can't own the same debt. That's illegal. So you need to reach out to, I always say, the last point of communication. So the last person to reach out to you saying that they own the debt, you need to reach out to them and be like, "Hi, I am responding to, if they sent you something in the mail, or then you would say, this is in response to a letter that you sent dated on, with this date on it. And I'm noticing that you're reporting that you are saying that you maintain ownership of this debt. Can you please provide me any proof to this statement? Because there's another company who is attempting to collect on this debt, and I need to know who owns this debt outright." And what they'll do is they'll send you proof that they purchased the debt. Like literally, it'll be like almost like a bill of sale, low key, between the company and whoever they bought the debt from, and it'll show you kind of like the chain of possession, almost, you could say. Like it'll show like who they got the debt from, where they got the debt from, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, if you ask for it. Most of them have no problem showing you that, because then that means you know who to send the check to if you got to pay. So, but definitely figure out who owns that debt. Is it true they can't list transactions on consumer report? What? No. I'm gonna just say, I'm gonna leave it at that. I ain't gonna say what I want to say. I'm just gonna say no. If I get an eviction deleted from a third party bureau and send proof to the big three, can it be deleted? So here's the thing: just because you got it taken off of one third party reporting agency doesn't mean it doesn't exist somewhere else. So you need to make sure that there is no history whatsoever of this eviction anywhere. No matter where they look, they just cannot find it, right? And then you can send proof, right, to the credit bureaus to say, listen, I don't know where y'all getting this shit from, but I'm just saying I don't see it. So if I don't see it, you don't see it. Take it off. Because if they say no, there's somebody, because you gotta think about it like this. The credit bureaus only report what somebody tell them to. They follow it, right? Follow the lead ass niggas, right? So literally, if you just take away all the places that they have to look for it, it technically doesn't exist for them. So you just gotta make sure. And then if it does still pop up and they be like, oh no, somebody's still reporting it to us, you can ask them specifically, okay, give me the contact information for the party who is reporting this information to you. And then you can go to them directly and be like, where did you get this from? Right? You can keep like going down that rabbit hole. Oh, you're so welcome. See, evictions are a little different than regular. And this isn't just if you were evicted. If you broke a lease and never made a payment, or if you just had like a balance remaining when you moved out of a property. Um, Here's the thing, Princess. The reason why, and y'all ask me this all the time, like, can I call and say this? Can I call and say that? And I get this sense of urgency. But when you say stuff over the phone and then you hang up, what proof do you have of what happened during that conversation? Something that you can take into court and show to a judge. If you guys don't want to do the snail mail, because I get it, it takes a while, email. Try to get an email. You can call them and get a contact email, and communicate that way. But any communication that you guys do with a debt collector or a creditor or the credit bureaus need to be in writing. And it's not for no other reason than to go ahead and just protect yourself. Cover your own ass. Because anything that somebody puts in a written, like they write down and send to you on a company's letterhead or under as an authorized agent of a company, that's a legally binding contract. So anything these people say to you in these emails, they gotta stick with. This is why it's really, really, really important that you guys stop trying to get on the phone about everything. Oh, not today, Satan. Is it really doing that? It sure is. Now, evictions, or if you owe a balance on like an apartment or house or whatever, they are different than when you're disputing regular accounts, because they don't just exist, right, in the consumer credit reporting realm. There are rental reporting agencies that kind of like accumulate data from all over just to make tenant reports for landlords. So, like, even though you don't see it on Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, doesn't mean that it doesn't live on another report somewhere else. So they're really tricky, but it's a little tedious. So I always tell people, if you're trying to remove an eviction, you need to get started as soon as possible. But it can be done. It is completely possible. Now, if you've been to court and you have a judgment against you or in the form of that eviction, that's a little bit different, because even if we take it off your credit report, technically it's public record now that you were evicted or they took you to court over an eviction. There's nothing you can do about that without like a lawyer and all that stuff. But when it comes to those of you who just have the balance and you want to get the balance taken care of, or if you're just trying to move and it keeps popping up in the system and you just want it to be removed from the system so that you can go ahead and apply for whatever place you're trying to live in, I would suggest trying that. Thank you. I love your lives. You've helped me with my credit journey immensely. Oh, you're so welcome. Oh, you know what else we should talk about for a second? I said 15 minutes, it's been 30. Repossessions. There has been and there's going to be, I anticipate. So like I love y'all dearly, but y'all always take y'all tax returns and spend all this money on used lemons. And there's nothing wrong with the used car, right? There's nothing wrong with the used car, and there's nothing wrong with you purchasing a less than perfect car, right? But here's the thing. You guys are like you'll have car payments on like the world's shittiest car and then can't make the payments, which you knew when you signed the contract, right? Or you can't make the payments because of whatever. And instead of communicating with the lender, you guys duck them out. They come, they repo the car. Now you try to hurry up, go get something else, but this repo is reporting on your credit. And it's like y'all instantly try to dispute it without understanding the consequences of that action because you just want it off so bad. And everybody on social media tells you as soon as you dispute it, it's just gonna come off. If you say these magic words, it's gonna come off. But the thing about repos is that with the repossession, they are going to sue you. If you are within your statute of limitations and you start like and you start pushing too hard at these repo companies, oh, they're gonna sue the shit out of you because one, it's always worth it because you always owe a couple $1,000s. I've never seen somebody's car get repossessed over less than a couple $1,000s, right? But like it's worth it to them because they can easily just get a wage garnishment and get their money off the top, right? And then it's an inconvenience for you because you not only do you not have a car because they came and took it, now your money's tied up in that car still, and you still can't afford another car. When it comes to repossessions, I always tell people if you are not willing to pay, if this shit hits the fan, leave it alone. Ignore it. There are people out here who will give you a car loan with the repossession still reporting as long as the rest of your credit isn't horrible. And let me tell y'all something. I bought a brand new. Shit had, I think it had 13 miles on it when I bought my Kia Soul. Shout out to Nationwide Kia in Lincoln, Maryland. I will never forget. My homegirl drove me all the way out there because I lived in the city. Drove me all the way out there because this was the only dealership willing to give me a car. I bought a brand new 2016 Kia Soul. I think at the time they were like 18,000 or something like that. My credit score was like a 515, so I had a high as shit interest rate. But I could afford the payment, right? And plus, if you've known me for a while or if you've watched me for a while, I've told the story about how I low key finessed that situation. But I knew I could afford it at least until what I was working on went through. But they gave it to me, and I had a repossession on my credit at the time. They gave it to me. They was like, "Fuck it, you ain't pay them, but you want to pay us, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." Mm-hmm. So it's possible. You don't always have to go through all of these crazy ass routes to get the things that you want. Yes, I got approved for lending through the dealership. I didn't have a pre-approved. Nobody would give me a fucking pre-approval. If it wasn't for that dealership, I wouldn't have had a car. 1,000%. If it was not for that dealership, I would not have had a car. Nobody was gonna give me the money, and I just couldn't get a co-signer. It was crazy because if you're from Baltimore, then you know. So like, I had went to JD Rider and went to get a car, but they wouldn't give me one because I didn't have a Maryland license. So like, it was literally like I had no other choice. And this guy called me and was like, "We can make it work." And I was like, "Sir, it's going to take me a long time and a lot of money to get all the way out there. I'm not coming out there if y'all can't help me." And he was like, "We'll get you in a car." And they got me in a car. Now let's talk about what car they got me in, right? So the car was perfect. The car was amazing, brand new, never been on the road, right? But my interest rate was high as shit. It was a 22% interest rate. I forgot how much my payments were at the time, but it was a lot. It was a lot. Now, the reason why I was okay with doing that is because I knew that I wasn't going to be paying that long term. Now, this is something that those of you who are interested in joining the military, or if you have joined the military, know people in the military, you are going to want to share this part of this video. There's something known as the Service Member Civil Relief Act. What this says is that any debt with an interest rate attached to it that you got before you got on active duty, no matter what the interest rate is, they got to lower it to less than 6%, right? So I had this car payment and it was a 22% interest rate car payment. At the time, I was out of the military. I had got out of the military for like a year and a half. But I was working on my active duty packet. I was trying to get back in. And my recruiter was like, all right, like we turned everything in, like 6 months to a year, we should hear something back because I was needs of the army since I was prior service. So I knew like this was getting ready to come through. So as soon as my contract go through, my payments will go down. Sure enough, I bought my car in February. I got back on active duty status in July. So around like September, I called my lender and I let them know, like, how you doing? I'm now on active military service. I would like to invoke my SCRA benefit. And at first, the person didn't know what I was talking about. They got the supervisor on the line. And all I had to do was give them a copy of my contract that I signed, showing them that I was on active military service. That was it. And my interest rate lowered to 6%. And any payments that I made during my contract, they applied directly to my principal and not the interest, if that makes sense. So all the payments that I had made at that time went directly to my principal. So I owed less. My car payment was less because my interest rate was lowered. It just worked perfectly for me, right? Because I knew what I was doing. That's the finesse of knowing consumer law, right? I knew that once I went active duty, my interest rate would drop. So I had no problem signing on and struggling for those couple of months with that highest car payment because I knew it was going to work out. That was risky as hell, but I was willing to take that risk because I understood how that particular consumer law works. You see what I'm getting at and why it's important for y'all? Because like there's a lot of laws and loopholes and all that shit out there, but you won't know unless you do the research. And do the research don't mean watch random TikTok and YouTube, including my shit. Don't mean watching these random videos and thinking you know everything now. And it requires you to do your own research. That's inspiring because people always tell you to get a pre-approval to prevent 1,000 inquiries. That straightened me away from getting lending from the dealership. I'm gonna be real with you. You gotta let's be real. When you got bad credit, you can't be mad at nobody but yourself, right? So when you go somewhere and they deny you, fuck it. Like, all right, I mean, I can't even be mad. I wouldn't give me no money either. Thank you for trying and go to the next place. So I did have a lot of inquiries. But again, this is why knowing consumer law works in your favor, right? Legally, they can't report an inquiry that they don't have proof that you gave them permission to run your credit for, right? And usually when you don't get an account with a company, they don't really keep your shit on file for what? They weren't giving you nothing anyway. They throw that shit in the trash, fall it up, whatever, and just put in there that you applied and they denied you, right? So if you send them a request saying, hey, recently I pulled a copy of my credit report and I'm noticing that you all are reporting inquiries on my credit report. Can you please provide me proof of the consent that I gave you or the authorization that I gave you to pull my credit? If not, please remove this inquiry from my credit report. Boom. Shit coming off. If they can't prove it, it's coming off. Remember, it's not always about what happened. It's about what they can prove. And in America's eyes, you are innocent until proven guilty. So unless they can prove that you gave them authorization, it's got to come off. Now, you only do this with accounts that you did not open up. Because if you opened up this account and you go back and you tell them, show me the Carfax, right? If you like, show me the proof that I gave you the authorization to do that. They're going to think it's fraud and they're going to close your account. So you only do this with accounts that you were denied for. And there are times when the company be like, oh, no, girl, here's your application right here. All right, cool. You stuck with that one inquiry. That's fine. It's not going to kill your score. But yeah, you can get rid of a lot of inquiries that way. And I knew that. So I had no problem shopping around. This is why it's important for you guys to understand how consumer law works and how you can use that in your favor. But again, that don't mean sit and watch these videos and just be like, all right, I know everything now. No, do your own research. That particular part of the law is in the Fair Credit Reporting Act. I wonder when they're going to start passing out so this is the old one. I have a digital copy of the new ones. I don't have a new one, but like the FTC allows you to order reading materials in bulk. And I had got a bunch of these and I found some more when we moved in here. But there have been some changes. So the new one, I think the cover is like it's like a teal, if I'm not mistaken. The cover is like a teal, and it's available online. But I did not see the new copies available for ordering yet. I'll let y'all know when I do. And if you need it, and you on Facebook, if you go into group files, it's in there for free. You can download it. If you're not following me on Facebook or inside the Facebook group, which is scrolling at the bottom of your screen, everybody. I know Instagram, y'all can't really see it like that, but no. Sorry, I got a text. Yeah, but you can My Facebook is Markia B. You should see it on your screen. Markia B, aka the Money Plug, is the name of my Facebook page. The name of my Facebook group is called Plugged In, the Credit Clubhouse. Where's my phone? But you can always just search it. So like if you go online, you can search Fair Credit Reporting Act 2022 and it should pop up. And it's like a teal color. Always need a copy of that. Because let me tell y'all, for those of y'all who didn't know, and I did a YouTube video on it about how like I went to court to fight my case. When I went to court to fight my case, I definitely had a copy of it in my hand, like in the court. And I had like notes, like sticky notes and shit sticking out. Because I was gonna fight to the death for my case. They was gonna get that money on my cold dead hands. I got a debt collector to stop reporting because they didn't have my contract. They kept sending bills. Exactly. No, okay. So here's the thing with that. A lot, just keep an eye on that because a lot of times what they do is, yeah, they'll stop reporting and just sell your debt to somebody else. And then they gonna hit you up. And then the next person and the next, so it'll like keep exchanging hands. If you cool with that, I'm cool with that. If you like it, I love it. But just that's something to keep an eye out for because they try to recoup some of the money that they lost by purchasing that debt. You did the right thing though. I definitely don't blame you, but just keep it out of your credit. This is also why I tell people that you need a credit monitoring subscription. It don't matter who you sign up with. I'm all for whatever works for you. But everybody should have a credit monitoring subscription. And an identity monitoring subscription too, y'all. That's so not talked about as much as it should be, but you definitely need that. What other questions y'all got? Let's see. I don't want to minimize. She said, I'm gonna fight to the end. No, cause period. Cause period. What? Why do Ray J not have a shirt on the Breakfast Club, y'all? What? Okay, maybe I should have looked at that. I told y'all 15 minutes and it's 40 minutes later. Whatever questions y'all got before I hop off of here. I gotta go. I don't got nothing to do, but not my scammer started following me, y'all. Look, somebody pretending to be me follows me. That's really weird. Super weird behavior. Report. Something about this account. They pretended to be me, fool. Not they back. When you go to court with the big three because they verify the debt with information, how does that work? Okay, so here's the thing. What y'all gotta understand about the credit bureaus is that they only repeating what somebody tell them. So them verifying a debt, there's nothing illegal about that. When they verify a debt, what they're telling you is, listen, this is what a company is telling us. We're telling you exactly what they telling us. So if you got a problem with what we're saying, then you have to go to the creditor. Now, have there been instances where the credit bureaus have violated the rights of some people? Yes. Each case is going to be different because each situation or circumstance is different. Now, you can't just take them to court because they verified the debt. That's not illegal. But if the information is inaccurate or incomplete or something like that, that's something you would take up with the creditor, not the credit bureaus. Mm. Is this a good time to tell y'all that because y'all know I always be spilling tea on my live. Is this a good time to tell y'all that the podcast coming back? It's not the same podcast, so it's not going to be what would the money plug do and nothing like that. But yeah, a podcast. What's up? Shout out to y'all on Twitch. But yeah, the podcast is coming back. It's gonna be completely different. I'm super excited because um, it's gonna be a different way that y'all see the money plug. So I'm excited, but at the same time, it's just like I'm so excited because of the people that are gonna be on the podcast. I'm so excited for the stuff we're gonna talk about, like the man. I'm just excited. I can't say a lot without giving a lot away because y'all know I can't hold water, but it's gonna be lit. It's definitely gonna be lit. All right, I pay y'all too much money for this internet thing to be popping up in the corner of my screen. Y'all gotta stop playing with me. The eviction is reporting a high balance of 4K and a current balance of 5K, but it keeps getting verified and money keeps getting added on. Ain't no interest for an apartment. So then you need to reach out to the company that's reporting that information to the credit bureaus, not the credit bureaus. That's not something they're controlling. The company that's reporting the information is controlling that. You need to reach out to them. And one way that you could do it is by like, if you have multiple copies of your credit report, like to show the increase, what you could do is put like maybe like a copy of two different credit reports showing that the amount went up. Highlight what the issue is and send a letter to the original creditor like, hey, I recently pulled a copy of my credit report and I'm noticing that you all are reporting a debt that I supposedly owe. My question is, what is this account? Why does the balance keep increasing? And what obligation to this debt do I have? Which is pretty much a debt validation, but just asking for some really specific information. And then you wait for their response. Now, how they respond obviously would determine the next course of action, but you need to figure out where the balance came from originally. As in, like, they need to provide you a breakdown of all the charges and all that shit, of like to explain every penny, and then they also need to explain to you why the balance keeps going up. Yes, I love trap music. What other questions y'all got for me? Oh, I was thinking, what's so crazy? I was actually thinking about getting back on Twitch because I used to stream video games on Twitch at one point. I was just doing random stuff. But I do play video games, and y'all know I had the Hogwarts game early because I had this shit pre-ordered since like last year. And I like it's definitely got me back on my game. It's been a minute since I've been playing the game. And I know I used to play with a couple of my followers, so shout out to y'all. If you got PS5, hit me up, THEE money plug. But it's just been a while since I've been on my game, so it do feel good to play. But it sucks because now I'm about to be out of town for a week, so I'm not gonna have my game. Ooh, I could take it with me. I don't think my husband will let me take my PS5. I don't think he'll let me take it out the house. Low key, he would die. He would have a heart attack. Won't they just update the report, or will they delete? Well, you haven't done anything yet. All you've requested. So, like, the advice that I just gave you, all you're doing is requesting the information so far. Once you have the information, then you can do a plan of attack to see what it is you can do with the account. Because if you can find something that's deletable, right? If you can find a reason for them to delete, then yeah, you can petition for the deletion. But if you don't have any evidence, no ground to stand on, but like let's just say they updated the account with the actual amount owed, then that's something completely different. You'll have to work something out with them to try to get it paid. The biggest thing is like most people just want to know that you went back and paid it. Oh, that's gonna piss me off. There we go. Okay, that should work. That's better. So yeah, it really just depends on how they respond. Their response to your initial request will determine a lot. How is that still popping up and I plugged it in directly? Don't play with me. We might be cutting this out a little early. Oh, well, late, huh? What other questions y'all got for me? If the collection is sold, does it still go by the statute of limitations? Yes, it doesn't matter how many times the debt exchanges hands, the statute of limitations is clear. It doesn't reset just because they sold the debt. But be careful because in some states, the statute of limitations can be reset. You have to check your state law for that. Like, for example, if you live in Maryland, by my Baltimore peeps, Maryland passed a law where the statute of limitations won't change just because uh, uh, you disputed it or whatever the case may be. 3 years is 3 years. After that 3 years, there's nothing they can do. They can't take you to court. Now, listen, they can still report, but they can't take you to court. Yeah, no problem. I was supposed to be taking it easy today because I have an early flight tomorrow and I haven't even started packing. But I really went live because one of my biggest haters commented on my Instagram today, a little while ago, and then deleted it. So shout out to you, sis. But over a video that I posted today, talking about, I don't know the guy in the video, but a guy said 2 very specific things, and so I clarified them in my video. So she has something to say about that. But you know, opinions are like assholes. Everybody got one. So, well, any more questions before I'm out of here? Because I'm fucking tired and I still gotta pack. Oh my God, and be up early tomorrow. What was I thinking? I should have told them I wanted like a late afternoon flight. Fuck. All right. Well, so just to confirm, the debt can't report after the statute of limitations. Incorrect. They can't sue you after the statute of limitations. Once the statute of limitations expires, they can still report for 7 years from the date of first delinquency. And the date of first delinquency is the first missed payment that led to your account being charged off. The statute of limitations and the reporting time is 2 different things. Oh, thank you. It's for my day job. Okay, she got it. Whatever. I guess I got like a couple other little house church announcements. I can you're so welcome. So I'm about to head out, but if you guys need a free budget and action plan, for those of you listening, you can't get your credit together if you're not even managing your money properly. In order to do that, you need to know how much money you got coming in, how much money you got going out. Because I hate when we get on these calls and I'd be like, how much money you make? And you'd be like, I think. I don't need a I think. I need a I know. If you need a free customized budget and action plan, use the link on your screen, Instagram. I know y'all can't really see it. So it's www.physical, FISECAL.com/themoneyplug. And it's free. I pay for it, so y'all ain't got to. And shit ain't cheap. So I would appreciate it if you used it. Thanks. I have surgery Friday. What? Oh my God. Wait. Oh, like this Friday coming. I got confused for a second. Oh my God. Okay. Keep me posted so we know you're good. What else is coming up? I do still have some openings on my calendar for Women's History Month for speaking engagement. So if you guys are looking to hire a speaker or have somebody come speak to your organization, church, school, whatever the case may be, all you gotta do is shoot me an email. Right? Send me an email. Oh, and I announced it on all my platforms, I think. I announced it today on LinkedIn because I forgot to post it there. But in April, I'll be speaking at Military Money Con. I'm super excited about that. So shout out to everybody in the Tennessee area. If you in Tennessee, hit me up. We'll go out for drinks. I love to eat, that sort of thing. But I'm really excited speaking on the convention. Speaking at a convention was on my bingo list this year. So I'm super excited to be extended the opportunity, and I can't wait to do it. I'm super stoked about it, actually. But I guess that's all the announcements I got. For now. There's more coming, but I've been doing this new thing where I try to keep my mouth shut. Y'all know I can't hold water, so I'll probably go live again tomorrow. But y'all know what I always say. Live every day like it's your last, but pay your bills and wear condoms just in case it's not. Whatever questions you guys got, drop them under my videos. I always try to go back and answer as many comments as I can. DM me on Instagram. As long as you're not asking me something like that's going to take me forever to go over, I have no problem answering like 1 or 2 questions in my DMs. As long as y'all not doing too much. And for everybody else, you can visit me on my website at www.markiabrown.com. Or if you're interested in services, you can go to themoneyplug.co. And yeah. So I'll catch y'all on the flip side. I'll probably go live like midweek next week to tell y'all how the house hunting is going for this big move we got planned. I've definitely been documenting that because that's been super interesting to see. Y'all know I'm trying to be a YouTube girly now because that's where the real money is. But but I've been documenting this whole moving process because it's interesting to see like how people save for something like this, how people alter their spending to accommodate things like this. And this is a big move for my family. It's our first military, like post-military move. We're doing it on our own. I feel like such an adult having to do this shit too, low key. So I've definitely been documenting the experience, and I can't wait to share it with y'all. Hopefully that inspires another family like ours to go ahead and take the leap and go to the place they've been dreaming of. So but we'll see. We'll see. If you guys need anything, y'all know where to find me. I'm out. Y'all have a good night.